Hi guys, it's Shay from Ayaba's Wind. I am back to do your Capricorn reading for the month of May 2026. I hope all has been well. Just keep in mind this reading can cover the recent past, what's happening now, or in the near future. And this can apply to you if you are Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus in this sign of Capricorn, okay? Some of the information may apply to you, all of it may apply, or none of it may apply, okay? And that's quite all right. If you are interested in getting a reading from me, you can DM me at Ayaba's Wind on Instagram and also YouTube, as well as TikTok. All right, so let's get started. So, Spirit is talking about there's something going on with next month. Next month is going to be key. Next month is going to be pivotal for you. Okay. So we're talking about next month, which is June. June is going to be really, really important. Spirit is also talking about there's someone around you, there's someone in your energy that's making you sick, that's dragging you down, okay? That's tampering with your energy, that could be draining you, okay? And Spirit wants you to keep your eyes open for that. There's different points in nature where you can go and tap into the energy in that place. You can go to the ocean, you can go to the river, you can go to the mountains, etc. Well, Spirit is saying for you, going to bodies of water are going to be very important for you. You can do your meditation here, you can make offerings here if you so choose. Okay, the river is going to be really pivotal for you, as well as the ocean. Okay, just make sure you're safe when you go there. Okay, going back to this person who's not good for you, that's in your energy, Spirit is saying that this person is a bad influence. Okay, this person brings bad luck to you. Okay, and so you may find that when you're with this person, things don't go right. There's chaos, there's confusion, and there could be some discord between you and this person, or having to do something with your business affairs, your relationships at work, etc., etc. Okay, so Spirit is saying that this person I'm hearing is like almost like a walking time bomb. This is what Spirit is telling me. Okay, so Spirit is talking about that. At this time, despite, these people being around you that could be a bit chaotic, Spirit is saying that now is the time to make moves, to move forward. If you were wondering if you should take action on something, Spirit is saying now is the time to take action. Okay, because Spirit is saying that there's goodness and blessings that are awaiting you. All right. And, as far as a cleaning is concerned, I love to give readings, but, people always look for a remedy. And so Spirit is giving you a remedy. You can take an egg in the shell. You don't have to crack it. You don't cook it. You hold it in your hand, and you ask Spirit to guide you, to protect you, to cleanse you of all negative energy, to shatter all the evil eyes that look upon you, to cut all the tongues that talk negatively against you. You blow your breath on it, and then you take the egg and you hold it like a sponge, and you start to clean your aura from head to toe. Okay, you can touch it to your body actually, but just make sure you're adjusting the pressure so that you don't crack the egg on your body. Okay, and so when you're finished, after cleaning from head to toe, then you can take it to a tree in a park, a mature tree, one that has like a big trunk and branches out at the top. And right at nightfall, as long as you're safe, you're going to throw it against the tree and say be gone and walk away. Okay, some people like to throw the egg in the crossroads at night. You can do that as well. Just be discreet about doing that. But you're essentially cleansing your aura, because eggs are very they absorb a lot. Okay, and so that's why if someone is cooking eggs for you, they're preparing some kind of egg dish, you should be praying over your food, especially the eggs, because if someone is making that food and they're very upset, they're angry, they're depressed, that energy will go into your food, and it can cause you to get upset stomach and affect you spiritually in a negative way. Okay, so that's why we use eggs, because eggs, are beneficial in, helping to absorb any negative energy. All right. So Spirit is talking about, and oftentimes, if it's not you in your love story, it's someone else in your love story. Okay. So Spirit is talking about there's someone in your love story that is a part of like a secret society or some kind of like esoteric group. Okay. It could be a spiritual group, something related to possibly being able to spiritually manipulate situations. Okay. Maybe a meditative group, maybe, other groups. Okay. And I'm not going to mention the names, but you can only imagine secret society, things that are done in secret that people don't, broadcast. Okay. So Spirit is saying if it's not you that's a part of this group, someone that you could be dealing with, someone that's in your energy could be dibbling and dabbling in this group. Okay. And Spirit is talking about your living situation. So if you have not just relocated or moved, Spirit is saying that you may want to think about making a change and relocating, because they're saying where you're at right now is not a good place for you to be. Okay. So Spirit is talking about that. All right. They're also talking about if there is not a special female in your energy, there's going to be a special female that comes into your energy. Okay. And so, this person is going to be very significant. If it's not someone that's going to be a lover, it's going to be someone that's going to guide you. That's going to be very close to you. That's going to be very much a strong influence in your life. Okay. And Spirit is also talking about, and this can apply to, opposite sex relationships or same sex relationships. Okay. There's always a masculine and feminine energy in those relationships. Okay. Spirit is also talking about someone could be a little bit money hungry. Okay. Someone could be money hungry. Someone could be very materialistic. And Spirit is warning that someone could be using the other person for material gain or material comforts. And so it could be a bit of a superficial connection. You guys may like, there may be a fascination, because of maybe there's a fetish or something exotic or different about the situation, but it's not necessarily love. Okay. And Spirit is warning you of that. Okay. So Spirit is also talking about at this time, there's different power colors that people wear. And if you're in New York City, everyone loves to wear the color black. All right. Because it makes people look thin and whatever. It's just easy to wear, yada, yada, yada. But, Spirit is saying for you, your power color is going to be white. It is highly recommended that you wear light or white or cream, off-white colors at this time, because dark colors tend to hold on to energy, okay? And it starts to weigh you down, okay? And you don't need that at this time. Spirit is saying you are very much a spiritual sponge. You absorb everything that's in your energy field, okay? And so in order to keep you light and bright and upbeat, okay, Spirit is recommending that you wear white as best as you can. Okay. Spirit is also saying it's important that, that when you wake, that you face the direction of the sun rising, which is in the east, and say prayers and give acknowledgement and give thanks and gratitude for you being in this life, for all the things that you've been blessed with, and, invite good things into your life. Spirit is talking about this, okay? And Spirit is saying, like, you came in this world to be a boss, okay? So if you are not in a leadership role, Spirit is saying now is the time to take your leadership role, Okay, Spirit's talking about that. All right, and Spirit is also talking about, like, to the world, it appears like you have everything together, but behind closed doors, things are not together. Okay, it could be a hot mess. Okay, and Spirit is talking about now is time for meditation and prayer, as best as you can. Okay, Spirit is talking about this. Spirit is also saying that, your ancestors are going to help. So, it's very important if you don't have some kind of connection with your ancestors, your spirit team. I call them your spiritual entourage. It's important that you can get some flowers, white flowers, a glass of water, a candle. And if you don't know how to set that up, we call that an abobara in my spiritual tradition. If you don't already know, I'm a santera. And so the abobara is a place where we go to say prayers and connect with our spiritual entourage, that consists of spirit guides that may not be connected to us by blood, but also our ancestors, what we call our egun or our muertos, okay? And so we go there to pray. And so Spirit is recommending that you set this up and you connect and pray. There is someone, a priest of many years, and he wrote this book, A Glass of Water and a Candle, and it's by Oba de Dayo. It's a very good book, very clear. It helps you to be able to set up your spiritual altar and connect with Spirit, okay? And so Spirit is saying, it's very important that you do that. Also, just like a side note, Spirit is saying, like, watch your teeth. Take care of your teeth. There's something going on with the teeth, okay? And Spirit's talking about that. Also, be careful around stairs, and going down into basements and things like that, because the energies are a little shifty and twisted, especially when you go downstairs into the basement, okay? So if you're doing work in the basement, if you live in a basement, if you have to do laundry in a basement, Spirit is saying that you should clean off, keep your eyes open, okay? Because they're saying, this energy down there is not good for you, okay? But Spirit is saying, like, you have blessings from the heavens. And they're saying, and everybody has this thing that they use to clean. Some people love Palo Santo. Some people love sage. Some people love frankincense and myrrh. Spirit is saying for you at this time to use copal, okay? Copal, okay? And to burn it. It's a resin incense, almost like frankincense and myrrh. And they use it in South America, especially if you are about to go on a trip, a spiritual trip, an herbal trip, with Mother Ayahuasca. Usually the shamans, the curanderos, they cleanse you with this copal, this smoke, to cleanse you of any negative energy. They also use copal in houses that are haunted or that has a lot of spiritual activity. Okay, and so Spirit is saying you should smoke your home out as best as you can with copal, because they're saying that there's like a revolution, there's war. Okay, which is also like the equivalent of the tower moment. Sometimes the tower moment is not all bad, but Spirit is saying that, there's upheaval. Okay, and just keep in mind, just remember, this information could have happened in the recent past, could be happening now or in the near future. So Spirit is talking about revolution, war, upheaval, change. You could be, leaving one situation, one cycle, and starting a new cycle. But in the midst of that, there could be issues and challenges, okay? And Spirit is saying that you definitely have to have your head about you. So, any kind of drugs and alcohol, anything that's affecting your mental, they're saying at this time you should lay off, okay? Look, I'm giving you advice from Spirit. You could do what you want to do, but Spirit is strongly advising you need to have your head about you. You need to have your sense about you, because, at this time you could build things up, or at this time you can destroy things, okay? And so Spirit is saying they want you to have your head about you, and also you should not, allow people to touch your head. Cover your head, when you're in crowds and things like that, preferably in like a white hat, a white head tie and things like that, because Spirit is saying like you're very easily influenced. And again, you're like a spiritual sponge, okay? They're talking about your chakras and doing spiritual alignment exercises. So we know there's over 500 chakras, right? But we talk about the main seven. So each one of your chakras, your main seven chakras, has a bij sound. So as much as I'm a santera, I also practice in Hinduism. And so, Hinduism, which is over 1,000 years old, it activates certain energies through sounds, right? And these are called bij sounds. So there's an exercise to work on your chakras, and it goes like this. Lam, Vam, Ram, Yam, Ham, Om. And the Om will cover your third eye and your crown chakra, okay? And so you can do this exercise. It's on my YouTube channel under my playlist, or you can just, go on YouTube and look at chakra alignment exercises, bij sound, and bij is Beej, okay? So, Spirit is talking about there's going to be some things that happen in the next several days, okay? And so today is Sunday. By next weekend, or the beginning, or towards the end of next week, or this week coming into the following week, Spirit's saying there's going to be a big shift and a big change. So Spirit wants you to keep your eyes open for that, okay? And for you, like the lucky numbers for you are 7. 777, okay? You have a lot of 7s in this reading, okay? Spirit is also talking about, be careful with needles and jabs and getting tattoos, walking barefoot, because Spirit is saying that something could enter into your body. Spiritually, things can enter in through your feet as well, but Spirit is saying just be careful where you walk, okay? Also monitor your blood. You can request your doctor to do a blood panel to check your vitamins, your nutrients, your hormone levels, just to make sure everything is good, okay? Spirit is saying you are a natural born spiritualist. You have people in your family, in your bloodline that are able to prophesize. They could have been prophetesses, some kind of diviner, preachers, santeros, babalaos, spiritual gurus. So Spirit is talking about this, okay? Spirit is saying that. And they're also saying, again, they're reiterating that you are so gifted spiritually that you could do what I do. Okay, if you really focus and you really put your energy into studying and connecting with Spirit, okay? and Spirit is talking about this. It would be beneficial for you to not only just go to the river, but go to the ocean, do a cleaning. You can bring flowers, and say prayers with the flowers, blow your breath on it, and offer it into the waters. In my tradition, the feminine aspect of God, the divine, who rules over the oceans, is a very mothering energy, represents abundance, represents, reproductive health. So if you're having, health issues and things like that, family issues, challenges with children, and that kind of thing, you can go to the ocean and say prayers, and do a spiritual cleansing with the waters to remove any negative energy, okay? Spirit is also saying, you got to watch for your stomach, any kind of like stomach issues, or any kind of issues or challenges with the reproductive system, okay? I'm not a doctor and I can't diagnose, but Spirit is talking about, just make sure you're checking that, okay? Spirit is also talking about marriage, okay? And so there could be some challenges. If you are not married, there could be some challenges in your relationship, in your connection, okay? And so you know how to direct your prayers with that, all right? And so Spirit is talking about that. Also at this time, you want to be careful with STDs, with sexually transmitted diseases. And again, I'm not a doctor, I can't diagnose, but I got to tell you how Spirit wants me to tell you. So Spirit is saying, just kind of monitor your reproductive organs for anything that's not right. Okay, because Spirit is saying at this time there could be something infectious that goes around, or there could be some kind of like imbalance with your reproductive organs as relates to your sexual and reproductive health. Okay, are you seeing 111, 1111? Spirit is talking about this again. And Spirit is saying that, with these numbers that you see, Spirit is saying that there's an urgency for you to connect. There's an urgency for you to pray. There's an urgency for you to do spiritual work and to meditate, okay? Because Spirit is saying that, you may have been and I hate to use the word victim, but you may have been a victim of some kind of crime, of some kind of tragedy, of some kind of accident, okay? Or someone very close to you could have been a victim of some kind of tragedy or accident, and or this thing could be coming. And so Spirit wants you to direct your prayers for protection and guidance, okay? And so Spirit is talking about that. Okay. So the other thing is, Spirit is talking about, again, it's something with your reproductive health. Okay. You got a couple of cards that indicate sexually transmitted infections, STDs, reproductive health. So if you have not gone to the doctor to check on your organs down there in the nether regions, Spirit is saying it's very important that you do this, okay? Not that there's anything there. Again, I'm not a doctor. I can't diagnose, but I got to give you the warning, the heads up, based on what Spirit is telling me, okay? If it's not an STD, is it a growth? Is it something happening, an ectopic pregnancy? Whatever this thing is, Spirit is saying just make sure you stay on top of your reproductive health, but also, too, be careful with people who scam you, okay? And this is not just scams like, texting scams, banking scams, email scams, that kind of thing. Spirit is talking about be careful with the people that you deal with. Like someone could scam you and say, they're pregnant, or, they have compromising photos and videos of you in compromising position. So, Spirit is saying that you got to be careful with people who could swindle you, could try to finesse you out of money. Okay. And so Spirit is talking about this. They're saying be careful with extortion. But again, your ancestors, your spirit team is going to help you. You will benefit from when you set up this spiritual altar. If you don't already have one set up, cook a meal for them. Okay. Get a plate. In my tradition, we usually put food on chipped plates, chipped dinnerware, chipped bowl, chipped cup, chipped plate, and, place a little bit of the food on the plate and say, hold it up. I dedicate this to you, ancestors. Thank you for being in my life. Continue to protect me, guide me, bless and protect every breath and every step I take, and talk to them about what you need, what you want, blow your breath on it and set it down and knock 3 times, okay? And, this food can sit with them for a little bit and then you could throw it in the garbage, okay? But Spirit is saying that, it is a bit urgent. Your ancestors want to connect with you. Your spirit team wants to connect with you like now, like yesterday, okay? And so Spirit is talking about that. And so very much so, they want you to go into prayer and meditation, okay? So Spirit is saying that, the prayer and the meditation are going to bring answers for you, okay? You can, pray and meditate like 10, 15 minutes. You can incorporate Psalms 23, Psalm 35, Psalm 91. You can do a St. Michael's prayer, anything, within your spiritual belief system, pray. Okay. Spirit is saying that. Okay. Spirit is also talking about that there could be someone that you're dealing with or someone that you dealt with that you're either not interested in them or they're not interested in you. Like there could be like a little, a connection or attraction, but it's not really potent. Okay. And Spirit is saying that the interest is kind of wavering and it's almost like an unrequited kind of love or situation. Okay. But Spirit is saying, don't worry, you know, moving into your career and your job sector, Spirit is saying that if you haven't already received an opportunity, Spirit is saying a new career opportunity is coming for you. Okay. It could be a new job. It could be a bonus. It could be a new contract. It could be like a new partnership that you have with someone. So Spirit is talking about this very much so. Okay. Again, like you have double confirmation on this. All right. So they're saying a new career opportunity is on the way for you. Okay. But again, you have to do a spiritual bath. You got to do an herb bath. Usually the herbs that I tell people to get are basil, mint, and rosemary. Okay. And you can get them at the supermarket. Like if you want to go to the Botanica, you can go to the Botanica as long as the Botanica has fresh herbs. And you're going to, get a bowl of water if they're fresh. Okay. I usually say like 7 cups of water, not hot, not cold water, like tibia. All right. And then you're going to, say prayers over the herbs and ask the spirits of the herbs to protect you, to, cancel out all negative energy and to propel you, to uplift you and to rejuvenate you and remove all the blockages and obstacles from your path. Blow your breath on it. Okay. And start ripping and shredding the herbs in the water with a little tea light candle lit. And you're praying for balance, for, prosperity. All right. And so you'll know that the bath is ready when the water is nice and green and rich and dark. Okay. And so, and the herbs, the leaves should be like in a pulp because you're essentially scrubbing the leaves together, scrubbing the stems. We don't really like stems, but, stems get in there. You're scrubbing it and you're releasing what I call the ache of the plant, the spirit of the plant. In science, we call it chlorophyll. Okay. And so, but it is the life force of the plant. It's like the blood of the plant. Okay. And when you're finished, you can strain out, the leaves and things like that. Put your left hand in and say one final prayer, blow your breath in it. Okay. And then go to the shower, wash with soap and water, rinse off. And then you're going to pour this on you. Okay. You could do it from your neck down. But Spirit is saying you definitely need to do an herb bath and you can spread that bath out over 3 nights. So you make it one time and then put it like in a, like a water jug or a pitcher, put it in the refrigerator. 3 days you can keep it out. Okay. And then every time you shower, this is how you're going to finish off your shower, but you're not going to dry off. You're going to air dry. Okay. And you're going to dress in white, sleep in white t-shirt, white panty, white boxers. Okay. And you can put something white on your head. And then when you get up in the morning, you just do like a little bird bath. Okay. You don't want to rinse the essence off of you. And then you just go about your day, okay? And you're in your spiritual bath mode for those 3 days, okay? Because Spirit is saying that success and fame are coming for you. And if you want to unlock those doors to success and fame and remove the blockages and obstacles from your path, Spirit is saying you will benefit from doing this spiritual bath, okay? Spirit's talking about this. So let's see. So it's reiterating spiritual cleaning. But again, it's talking about this connection that you're in, maybe this connection that's coming. Spirit is saying that someone is just with someone for the money, the stability, like material, superficial things. Like, you look good on my arm, or, you got a nice car, you got a nice body, but again, Spirit is saying that it's not much more of that. It's not going to amount to anything. Okay. And Spirit is saying someone's wearing a false mask. Like this connection could be based on, how you say false pretense, superficial again. Okay. Spirit's saying that, you may realize this, or this, connection You may either meet this person in the summer, which is June, July, August, or this event is going to culminate in possibly a breakup or disconnect June, July, August, which is essentially next month. That's the summer month. But Spirit is saying the summer months are going to be crucial for you. And it's going to present you at a crossroads, okay? You're definitely going to be at a crossroads. And even the tarot card, corroborates that, okay? And so, do you go left or right? You're going to be at a pinnacle. You're going to be at a precipice. Okay. And so Spirit is saying that it's very important that you go into prayer and meditation and that you cleanse your body. You detox your body of chemicals so that you can have a clear head to make the moves you need to make. Okay. And that detox and cleaning needs to start now. Okay. Because the beginning of this big change, the ending of this cycle and the beginning of this new cycle started March, April, May. Okay. And so we're going it's ramping up for you. Spirit is saying things are ramping up for you. Okay. And this may be causing you a lot of worry and anxiety. Okay. But, Spirit is saying, just, stay cool, calm, and collected, do your meditation and your prayer, and you should be fine. All right. You have a message of love coming in. Or you could be sending someone a message of love, saying look, I miss you. I want to see you. Or someone could be, sending you something. I miss you and I want to see you. Okay. Now this could be a DM. It could be a text message. It could be a phone call, but also it could be, telepathic. So it's all of a sudden this person pops up in your mind. Okay. And, Spirit is saying that in the next several days, which puts us again by next weekend, maybe the beginning of the following week. Okay, that this energy could be so strong. Like you could be dreaming of this person. You could smell this person. You could taste this person. Okay, the energy, it's almost like the person is there, but they're not really there. Okay, so, Spirit is talking about, 7 days is going to be really critical and really crucial. All right, and so, definitely keep your eyes open for that. If I ain't got you, I'm nothing. So this is my song deck. All right. And this, this is a song by Alicia Keys. And so essentially, there could be, okay, we can look at it 2 ways. There could be someone that is a bit obsessed with you, or you could be a bit obsessed with someone. Okay. And so I don't want to say this is toxic. On the flip side, there may be a little codependence or a little toxicity. Okay, but Spirit is saying that this person could be reflecting, and feeling like they need this person, to survive, whether you guys are on good terms or not. Okay, and Spirit is talking about that. All right. If you're not financially stable, Spirit's saying that someone could be coming in that's financially stable. Okay. And so Spirit's talking about that. They're also mentioning cheating, like someone violated the connection. Okay. Someone brought in like a third party and kind of disturbed the connection. And they're talking about that. But Spirit is also talking about that, don't worry. Saying at last your lonely days are over. And this was a song by Beyonce. And so, well, actually Etta James, she was the original, but Beyonce played her in Cadillac Records. So anyway, this is saying that, if you're not in a connection, you will be getting into a connection that is going to be significant, and that this significant connection could lead to an engagement or a marriage. Okay. And Spirit is talking about this. All right. And so right now you may feel like you want to go into hermit mode. Okay. You're already in hermit mode. And you may feel like, you don't want to be bothered necessarily. Like you have a focus on other things. Okay. And Spirit is saying, ain't no mountain high enough to keep me from loving you. Okay. And this was a song by I think it was back in the 1960s or 1970s, a song by Marvin Gaye. And so basically it's saying that, even though things may seem impossible, it's not impossible. Okay. With almost like I'm hearing where there's a will, there's a way. So Spirit is saying you may view the situation as futile or impossible, but Spirit is saying that no, it's not impossible. All right. Let me do this tarot real quick. You're being represented by the Queen of Pentacles. And so if you're a masculine watching this, you do have a balance between masculine and feminine energies. But really what this card is saying, that there is not just stability, but financially you're going to be okay. That you are practical. Sometimes at times you could be prudent, if that's what I'm hearing, prudent. And I don't usually use that word, but this is what Spirit is saying. Not in all aspects, but there's certain aspects of your life and how you move. Like you may be a little bit like OCD with things. And so Spirit's talking about that. Okay. And, you may not be as giving with your money. Okay. Spirit is saying that you could hold on tight to the money. And so Spirit's talking about this. You have the Four of Cups card, but this is reversed. So, Spirit is talking about a preoccupation with someone or something. It's cups. So, but Spirit is saying, this is reversed. So Spirit is saying like, you're in decision at some point. Now it's almost like you have a clarity that you've made up your mind, or you're about to make up your mind. Like you are clear about what it is that you want, who it is that you want, where it is that you're going. Okay. Because you got that card reverse. All right. You also got the Two of Pentacles reverse. So the Two of Pentacles talks about juggling. It could be, talking about you juggling responsibilities financially. It could be a little bit, of a challenge, but Spirit is saying, not to worry, those things are going to be ending. Okay. And so again, there's going to be a clarity. There's going to be like a surety. There's going to be confidence, like you're going to know. And you have the Knight of Swords, which shows, this man running to the motorcycle. And so the Knight of Swords represents someone like in their 30s, maybe early 40s. I like to say in their 30s. Or someone that has a very youthful nature, has masculine energy. And so, Spirit is saying like this person, you could be, not this person, but you could be the one that is now, you're determined, you're decisive, and you know what you want, you know where you're going, and you're ready to go. Okay. And so Spirit is, is saying that, and the Knight of Swords represents movement, fast movement. Okay. And also like the wheels are turning. So this cycle, whether you want the cycle to end or whether you want the cycle to begin, things are happening. Time is of the essence. Okay. You have the Three of Cups. Okay. And the Three of Cups talks about, enjoyment and, you could be enjoying more than one person. Okay. And Spirit is talking about this, but Spirit is saying that the stars are going to align and you're going to be destined to meet the partner that's going to take you to the next level. Okay. And again, there could be a third party situation. It could be an open connection. But I'm hearing three's a crowd. Okay. I have my hoodoo deck and it shows the cemetery etiquette, but it shows it reversed. So, Spirit is saying that someone could have been doing a little spiritual work against you. If not trying to take you out, trying to put you in a dark place. And so, Spirit is talking about that, but Spirit is saying that is not going to work. You are countering the situation. Your spirit team is countering the situation. And that's why that card came reverse. And someone is indeed doing candle magic. Okay. I would say this person has a background of like, either the West Indies, like Caribbean, or like, some part of Africa, either West Africa or South Africa. But they can be employing methods to try and control and manipulate a situation, using candles and things like that. You have the Nazar, so it's very important that you wear a spiritual eye to deflect negative energy, but also that you have eyes on you, have people watching you. You could have monitoring spirits around you, and so Spirit is saying it's important for you to cancel that energy out, okay, through prayer and meditation. And they're showing flowers. So Spirit is saying that, it's very important that you get flowers. You set up this ancestor altar. If you have an ancestor altar, and or an abobada, you can get more, get fresh flowers, white flowers, okay, Spirit is saying. But also, too, you could do a white bath, because that also indicates that. Because Spirit is saying there's something that's I don't know if I want to say like unresolved, but something is not being done and it has to be done. So Spirit is talking about that, okay? You also have come to me. So Spirit is saying, but this card came reversed. So Spirit is saying, like, whoever was working some kind of magic, tirando brujeria, love spells and things like that, Spirit is saying that stuff is out the window, okay? It is losing its effect. It is done. And you soon will be liberated, okay? And so through that, the spiritual baths that I gave you, that Spirit recommended, you should be okay. So this has been your reading for the sign of Capricorn for May 2026. It could carry you into June and July, okay? My readings are timeless. Like I said, if you want to connect, you can DM me at Ayaba's Wind, WYND, on Insta and TikTok. All right, ciao.